You feel Cody has changed as a person since becoming the world champion. In what way? Can you describe it?
He's just become a tool. You know, since he's won the belt, he's just a completely different guy.
TJ, this Saturday night you get a chance to fight to get your belt back. I mean, how are you feeling generally in yourself and your preparation for this fight?
I'm excited. I'm really, really excited because I'm very prepared. You know, not only to get my belt back, but to have a great performance and to do it in front of an epic arena. You know, it's all very exciting stuff to be on this big card and to have this big fight for myself.
Well, you said just now, before we went on camera here, that you were here last year for the UFC's first visit to Madison Square Garden. How can you describe the energy that was around that event? And at that point, did you think to yourself, I want to be there, I want to be fighting in that arena?
Absolutely. Before the fight even happened, before I was even in the arena, I wanted to fight there. You know, it's a historical arena to fight in, being a fight fan myself. And then being there, it was such a crazy card too because of Conor and all of his fans, and just the energy inside of Madison Square Garden was amazing. So it definitely got me ready for Saturday night.
Well, this is a crazy card as well. 3 title fights, of which you're the co-main event. Does that bother you being the co-main? You know, this is your big fight. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. You know, I'm behind 2 legends as well. You know, I'm behind GSP and Bisping. It's, you know, it's an honor just to be a part of the card. You know, you gotta just enjoy the entire process. And
Jason Perillo's been working with you as well, which of course is Michael Bisping's coach. What has he added to your armory, if you like, and also training not with Mike, but alongside Mike, both preparing?
Yeah, training with Perillo has been awesome. You know, he's a great boxing coach for MMA. You know, there's boxing coaches for boxing, which I feel is a completely different distance in sport, and so for him to understand MMA is big within the boxing world. And you know, him working on some reaction time stuff and just being a smaller guy like myself, I can take a lot from Jason. And then Bisping was my coach on Ultimate Fighter, so to be around him, to see him being the champ and to feed off his energy has always been great as well.
Obviously, there's a lot of animosity between yourself and Cody Garbrandt, yourself and Team Alpha Male, if you like. But you said recently that how they've behaved in your eyes is kind of telling you made the right decision to move away. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not in that lifestyle anymore. You know, it served its purpose at the time. You know, it got me to where I needed to be and grew from it as well. But I'm just a lot more mature and moved on in my life since then. And just how immature and ridiculous they've been acting with this whole thing and kind of blowing the whole thing out of proportion and creating stories and just all this drama that doesn't need to be. Just to try to hype up a fight is really shown me that I'm leaps and bounds further than where I was back at that camp, and it's led me to great things.
Is there any sadness though around the fact, you know, there was more than just teammates, these were your friends, and you find yourself in the situation you are now?
With certain guys, yeah. You know, there's certain guys you got close with that, you know, they'll used to bug me, but like I said, them continuing to act the way they have been has made it easier for me. You know, going on the Ultimate Fighter was a little tough on me at first, you know, because having to see them day in and day out, guys who used to call really good friends for 6 years, and then for them to turn their back that quick, it was, you know, maybe a little hurtful at first, but that's been something that, like I said, it's pushed me to where I'm at now, and I've got nothing but to thank them, really.
And with Cody's back injury, you were going to fight after the Ultimate Fighter, and tensions were really high at that point. Have they dissipated since then, or do you think this fight week and build up sort of brought it all back to a...
It's definitely dissipated. You know, you can't like keep hindering on the same thing, so the crap talk and all the banter going back and forth isn't as much because it's the same thing over and over and over for almost a year now. So it's made it die down a little bit. I'm sure for fight week it'll hype up. I'm sure they're gonna try to create some sort of drama and hype some things up, but it's made it easier.
But what has come to a fore this week is Chris Holdsworth spoke out on the alleged incident with the elbow as to why he was concussed, saying that you delivered that elbow, which you have categorically said didn't happen. I mean, it's very much them saying one thing, you saying the other thing, but do you want to have an opportunity to say something about that?
Absolutely. He's the one that's going to have to live with that story, you know. We both know it's not true, and before it was a knee, and now you're saying it's an elbow. Their stories are all over the place, and it just kind of like with everything they've created with this knockout footage they supposedly have on me, now they don't have. It's just been a bunch of antics to try to get under my skin and doing whatever they can to try to get me heated for this fight. You know, they want me to fight emotionally and not go out there and have fun, because when I'm having fun, I'm unbeatable.
Is it making you emotional?
No, not at all. Like I said, it's made it a lot easier because of this whole process.
Well, emotions aside, you've got a job to do, and that's to go in there and beat Cody, who now is the champion. What do you see in Cody? I mean, he's obviously evolved as a fighter since you were at Team Alpha Male yourself, but what do you see in him that's, one, dangerous to you, that you're looking to avoid, and two, any weaknesses that you feel you can exploit or you're better at?
I think his strength is his weakness as well. You know, something I got to look out for is he's a very reactive fighter. You know, he's got some power. He's fast, but other than that, you know, he's just a guy that kind of is on autopilot, and I'm going to use that against him. You know, I'm one of the ones that's going to be able to use my brain and get in there and pick him apart and find those openings.
A lot of us are expecting a stand-up exchange, very reactional, very fast. But could wrestling play into this? I mean, Cody's obviously a wrestling background yourself. I mean, how much do you think that will play a part?
I mean, that's what's got me to where I'm at in this state of my career, is that how much am I able to mix it up. You know, I'm a very well-rounded fighter. You know, I'm an athlete. I'm not just a guy that's going to come out there only looking for one thing. You know, I'm going to be able to, per opponent, I switch it up. You know, John Lineker, I decided to use my wrestling and my grappling, you know. Since I started to use his counter fighting against him, you know. So every fighter I fight a little bit differently, and I'm going to do the same with Cody.
You said as well, when you became the world champion, you were older, you felt you didn't change as a person, but you feel Cody has changed as a person since becoming the world champion. In what way? Can you describe it?
He's just become a tool. You know, since he's won the belt, he's just a completely different guy. And even the lead up to the Dominic Cruz fight, he started getting some attention, and he became, you know, just such a tool. You know, he's completely changed who he was. Before, he seemed like a respectable person that was always a professional about things, but now it's this new Conor McGregor effect that everyone wants to be flashy and crazy, you know, but it doesn't always go as well as it does on him. You know, he's not as smart as Conor.
You've said before that it's not natural for you to do the trash talk and kind of do that. So the Conor effect hasn't made you feel you need to sell a fight with that kind of... I mean, this fight is selling itself with what it is in terms of the skills of you both and also the grudge match. But it hasn't made you want to be different and speak out more?
No, I want to be able to go back and look on my career when I'm all done and said with this and be happy with the way I acted, happy with the way I was portrayed. You know, I'm about to have a son. I want him to
congratulations.
Thank you very much. I want him to be able to look back and see that I was always respectful and acted how I should have.
Well, both yourself and Cody are about to have a son, your first child. I mean, does that create some form of empathy, though, with one another? You know, you're both in this position in your life and your careers.
Not really. I could care less what he's got going on.
But you do obviously want to beat him on Saturday night. A lot has been made of the fact that Team Alpha Male, in coaching Cody, have all this knowledge of you.
Yeah.
Slightly less so your team of Cody. So what can you take from what you've watched of him?
I think it's funny that they want to keep bringing up they have so much for me, because I've moved on and I went to other camps. I've learned from new coaches and I've become not only the same fighter but a better fighter. He's stuck at the same place, learning from the same guys, the old has-beens that were in the UFC that aren't anymore, and trying to now coach him. So I don't see what he's going to be changing when I'm doing everything and my whole career is changing. You know, I'm the one evolving with this sport, and so I'm going to expect the same Cody Garbrandt I've seen in practice, you know, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. And if he's so worried about me, then that's perfect. That's what I want. I want him to worry about what I'm going to do.
And what would it mean to you to get your belt back, Madison Square Garden, this Saturday night?
It's gonna mean everything I've been saying, that I've been this champ the whole time. You know, I didn't lose that fight to Dominic Cruz, and I should have the belt the whole time. I've been the one that's been fighting the #1 contenders, and so to me, it's just me defending my belt on Saturday.
Well, best of luck. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Appreciate it.